Hello and welcome to Special Olympics Maryland's 50th anniversary messenger training. Today we're going to go through a quick slide deck as our orientation. We're thrilled that you're interested in becoming a 50th anniversary ambassador and look forward to working with you in the near future. So let us go to our slideshow. So 2020 marks the 50th anniversary for Special Olympics Maryland. 2 years ago, Special Olympics Incorporated celebrated their 50th anniversary because they were founded in 1968. But Special Olympics Maryland was founded 2 years later. So we are celebrating this year all the way into 2021 up to our summer games. And we want you to be part of it. We want you to be an ambassador. We want you to speak in public. We want you to share the message of Special Olympics and the success we have had for 50 years. And also to share the message of what the next 50 years are going to look like. So as you can see, the 50th message anniversary, our goal is to include Special Olympics 50th anniversary messaging into as many speeches as we can and wherever we can. But before we get too far down the road, we wanted to kind of share a message from our founder, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, a message that she said, or a speech that she made in 1968 at the first games in Chicago, Illinois. So let's go to that video.
In ancient Rome, the gladiators went into the arena with these words on their lips: "Let me win." But if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. Today, all of you young athletes are in the arena. Many of you will win. But even more important, I know you will be brave and bring credit to your parents and to your country. Let us begin the Olympics. Thank you.
So that was Eunice Kennedy Shriver in Chicago, now 52 years ago. So we've been around for a long time as an organization. We plan to be around for another 50 years at minimum. So we're glad that you're part of this again. So your responsibilities as the 50th anniversary messenger will include to partner with Special Olympics Maryland and to share the message of Special Olympics Maryland and the 50th anniversary. And so that could be with our partners, that could be with fellow athletes, could be with new athletes, the general public, schools, wherever the opportunity comes to share that messaging. So what's the example of sharing this messaging? It includes brainstorming with Special Olympics Maryland staff on programming activities and the role of athletes. So what will you will sit down with staff, whether it's athlete leadership and myself, whether it's marketing communications, whether it's development who are doing special events, and we're going to work together on increasing the role of athletes around the celebration of the 50th anniversary. So we'll participate in some phone calls with SOMD staff, especially in this new virtual environment. And you may be on the phone just with staff, or you may be with a current or potential partner or sponsor. So that'll be important. And you can see the third of them that we've crossed out, that attending an in-person meeting with SOMD staff or current or potential partner. It's just not feasible at this time. This recording has been made September 4th, so things may change in the meantime, but for now we are actually not having any in-person meetings with potential partners moving forward. So the 50th anniversary campaign is centered around three things: health and sports, kind of the main things that we do at Special Olympics Maryland, schools and youth movement, and then athlete leadership. So where you could say number 3, athlete leadership, kind of encompasses number 2 and number 1, but we do have them divided out. So those are going to be kind of the 3 things that we focus on in our speeches, and the 3 areas that we will focus on in our messaging. Here's just a quick sample of the logo. There are many variations of this, but this will be our 50th anniversary logo. And so Eunice Kennedy Shriver, as I referenced in the first or second slide, was our founder. She founded Special Olympics in her backyard many, many years ago, and had the vision to bring sports, or to offer sports for individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities as a way to being accepted into kind of mainstream society, with the importance of sports that we hold in the United States, and the importance that we put on achievement. She thought that this was a perfect way to increase inclusion and acceptance. So let's celebrate. So as we referenced in the video, this is, you can see Eunice Kennedy Shriver in the middle. She's warming up with the exercises and the athletes before the games. You can see, I think, a basketball hoop in the background, but there are certainly many people there for the first events, and it was attended by 2 countries, the United States and Canada, who attended the very first games. On top of the 3 areas that we talked about, there are also 3 pillars that we're going to add to this. We're going to talk about innovate, unify, and empower. So innovation means kind of new ways of doing things, different ways of doing things that are perhaps cutting edge, perhaps not, but it's just we're not going to do things the same way as they've been done to this date. We're also going to talk about unify, which is bringing people together. We're going to talk a little bit about that. You may have heard of Unified Sports, Project Unify, different ways. We're going to talk about unification, and we're going to talk about empowering, and that really will talk about kind of leadership, and this is the role that you will play. How can we help you garner the skills to make you a better athlete leader and to empower yourself to speak for yourself? And how do we empower you to make changes within the organization that benefit you? So pillar 1, inclusive health and sports. So you can see that when we talk about inclusivity in Special Olympics, that being included, it means that everyone has an opportunity or a chance to participate, whether it's sports. So on the far left, you can see the stadium. So we're saying that everyone should have a chance to be included in sports, training, competition. We want to talk about health. We want to be inclusive in our health. So you can see in the middle picture that there's a doctor and someone getting a checkup. And then on the far right, you can see a teacher or a classroom. And so we really want education to be inclusive as well. And so that's really important, that everyone has the best opportunity to be included in the things they want. Not everyone wants to do the same things, but we want to make sure that those athletes who are interested in whatever thing that they would like to pursue have the opportunity to be included, and that partners and family members and others also have a chance to be included with them. So something to think about, kind of a reflection exercise at this stage. What are your favorite ways to stay active? And so we're asking a series of questions, this being the first question, to help you kind of formulate perhaps a speech coming up. So, or a way to summarize how you feel about Special Olympics. And one of the ways to do that is to really think about how do you stay active? What do you do in your everyday that allows you to be active? And again, understanding that even during this time of COVID, that you may not be as active as you normally are. maybe we think about how you stayed active before COVID, or potentially, are there different ways you're staying active now because of COVID? Have you chosen different sports or different activities that get you out of the house, that help you on your journey to stay active and in the community? A second question you should think about is, have you been to Healthy Athletes? Generally, most people have. Special Olympics Maryland offers Healthy Athletes, or a version of it, at summer games. So most people who've attended summer games have had an opportunity to go to Healthy Athletes, or maybe you've attended a higher level competition and went to Healthy Athletes there. But why we ask is that if you've been, you have that experience, so you'll be able to talk about it in greater detail. So we would like to identify those athletes who have been to Healthy Athletes. So we talked about Unify. Again, we can see 3 pictures here on Pillar 2. We want to unify. We can see a basketball court, or it might be just a gym floor on the far left, and that is to symbolize unified sports. So athletes and partners. It could be unified sports in the school, interscholastic unified sports, but just the unified generation of sports. In the middle, you see 2 figures kind of high-fiving. So that could be kind of after-school clubs, other events or opportunities that aren't related to sports directly, but still offer an opportunity for persons with intellectual disabilities and persons without to do activities together. And on the far right, kind of back to the pillar of education, you can see a schoolhouse, and so that's what that represents. So Pillar 2 is there. And some questions on Pillar 2 that we want you to think about. Have you played unified sports? And again, much like the health question, we want to know if you've had a unified sports experience, because if you have, this will be a great opportunity for you to talk about that. And was it a positive experience? And what did you benefit from? And what sport was it? So remember, keep that in mind when we are talking about opportunities, and let us know if you've played unified sports. And then here's something we'd like you to think about, and this is a little deeper. So what was it like at your school? There's a lot of talk of inclusive schools and the unified generation. But what was it like at your school? Maybe you're not under 30, maybe you're not under 25, maybe you're a little older and you went to school at a different time when Special Olympics maybe wasn't so active in the area of inclusivity. So tell us about your experience. Be as open as you're comfortable being. But it's an important thing to share. It's like, okay, well, my experience was different than some people these days, or it was really great, and tell us about it, because that's an important part of your story that you should be able to tell. Pillar 3 is we talked about empowerment. You remember that? Athlete empowerment. So how do we empower athletes? Well, there's so many ways we can do it. The Athlete Leadership Program is very active in Special Olympics Maryland, and we create opportunities for athletes to participate in whatever way they want. So it is not my choice to pick what you would like to participate in. It is my job to provide you with enough opportunities where you can try various roles and then decide kind of where you'd like to go, or if you'd like to try them all. Then maybe it's like a buffet. You want to try various things, and that's absolutely good as well. Now, on the far left of your screen, you can see a figure talking. So that has to do with Global Messenger, sharing the message of Special Olympics, public speaking. That's how we become empowered. You go out and you tell your story and you share it with people. They're impacted, and you can make change that way. You can advocate for your fellow athletes or for yourself. In the middle, you can see a briefcase. So that is roles where athletes are in positions of influence. So maybe they're on a board or an area management team. Maybe they're visiting Capitol Hill or Annapolis, and they're advocating for some changes in the way things are done. Then on the far right, athletes can also give back on the court or in the field or in the pool. Maybe they're an official, maybe they're a coach, maybe they're someone who's on a sports management team who's helping guide next year's summer games or winter games. And so those are opportunities for athlete empowerment. Some questions we should think about under athlete empowerment is, what is your favorite memory as an athlete leader? So what stands out in your mind that was the very best moment that you've had as an athlete leader, where you had an impact, where you made a speech, where you were captain of your team? There's so many ways that people have memories of their athlete leadership experience. We just want to know what's yours. And so this will actually be one of the questions at the end of the PowerPoint. There will be an assignment for this PowerPoint because you're taking it at home and not live. We just want to make sure that we do some form of kind of quiz at the end, so we know that you were in tune to the slides, and we want to get some input so that we can help start your or enhance your journey of athlete leadership. And then, do you have a job or go to school? Employment and being in school are big issues for Special Olympics. We want to work with our athletes and make sure they garner the skills through athlete leadership that they're more employable. Or if you're in school, we want to know, kind of what school that is, and what are you doing there? What's that experience like? Are you a junior, senior? Is it high school? Is it college? Is it a community college? Just let us know what that is about. So again, to review the 3 pillars: innovate, unify, and empower. So those are the 3 things that we're going to continue to focus on with the 50th anniversary. And some things for you to think about. What ideas do you have to celebrate? How will we celebrate the 50th anniversary? Certainly Special Olympics Maryland has been talking about this for a while, and we have some ideas and we have some plans, and you may have already participated in some of them: the 50 for 50 challenge, the virtual torch run. There are things that are already going on, but is there something that you would like to do to celebrate the 50th anniversary? Ideas coming from leaders are very important because you are experiencing the program firsthand. You can talk about it firsthand. So are there ways to celebrate that you think would be lots of fun and that would attract lots of people or other people would participate in? Now, many of you have probably gone through our Global Messenger course. If you have, you recognize the elevator speech template. And so this is just a template. If you haven't gone through the Global Messenger, we should explain that this is kind of how you write your first speech. But first, what is an elevator speech? So an elevator speech is just a speech that you have that you kind of have memorized in case someone asks you, oh, like, what's your name? What do you do? Who are you part of? How long have you been in Special Olympics? And they call it an elevator speech because it's generally the time it takes from the point where you get on the top of an elevator at the top of a building to the time it takes to get down to the ground floor. That's how much time you have to kind of talk about your elevator speech. Now, realistically, you're probably not going to go into a speech like this in an elevator, but that they use the concept of elevator so you understand kind of the length. So take this, and it would be useful at this stage if you wanted to stop the video and just fill this in, because this will actually give you a first launching point for your elevator speech, and this will be your first speech. And so they're asking what your name is in part one, and that you're a member of Special Olympics Maryland. And you can also put Special Olympics Maryland, Anne Arundel County, or Frederick County, or whichever you wish. Part of the mission of Special Olympics, and that blank space is Maryland. And then it kind of goes down, and you can answer the questions. Number 3, how many years have you been involved? Question 4, what sport are you best in? And then what other sports do you do? How many medals have you earned? What has Special Olympics helped you to do? What do you like most about Special Olympics? And if you would like to know more about getting involved with Special Olympics, you can visit the website. So that website, if you don't know it, is www.somd.org. So again, take your time. If you want to, I'll try and include a copy of this in any email I sent out to you. Or if you need a copy, remember to just email me at jschrimmel@somd.org, and I'll get you this copy so you can do it right on your computer. So we'll quickly review parts of a speech as well. This is important because, again, the idea is to be out in public talking about your story, talking about Special Olympics. For most of our trainings, we divide parts of a speech into an opening, and a body, and a closing. We often compare it to a sandwich or a burger. The opening is the top bun of the burger. The body is the lettuce, the cheese, the tomatoes, and the burger itself. And then the closing is the bottom bun. So then you put it all together and it comes together and you got a nice hamburger. Well, it's just another way of showing how to put it into a nice, neat little package like that. Before we get into the kind of top bun, middle, and bottom bun, let's talk about what a gold medal presentation looks like. So if you're going out to present to the general public, or to sponsors, or to your family, or to a school, these are some of the things that we want kind of you to behave in. Not behave in, sorry, let me take that back. We want you to think about when you're presenting yourself, because you're really now an advertisement of yourself and of Special Olympics Maryland. So winning behavior. So think about what is a winning behavior. When you see people who are very successful on TV or in sports, what is their behavior? And look at that behavior. And are they confident? Do they look people in the eye? Are they friendly? Those kind of things are behavior that's winning. There's some other things on here, and we'll get to those, so I won't give it all away. Smile, be friendly and courteous. Even if you're not having the best day, if you're a representative of Special Olympics Maryland, it's really important to kind of put that aside and go, all right, my morning's not so good, spilled coffee on myself, running late a bit, or even little things like it's raining out and I don't feel so good. Really important to engage in winning behavior. So being friendly and courteous, that's useful and important everywhere you go. Body language, be sure that your facial expressions match what you're saying. Make eye contact. What are your gestures? Do they match what you're saying? Be aware of what your body language is saying. Are you kind of slumpy, or are you, fully sitting up and engaged? If you're doing a speech, you want to make sure that you're not too loud and that you don't go too long. So it's not a screaming match. You're not a wrestling announcer. Often you'll have a microphone, so you don't need to be loud at all because the microphone does all the work for you. But again, you just want to be everyday conversation and not so loud and screechy. And if someone invites you to do a 2-minute speech, plan to just do a 2-minute speech. There really is nothing more frustrating for an audience than someone who's been invited to speak for 2 minutes and they speak for 10 minutes. This is not your opportunity to tell 10 minutes worth of your story. They've invited you for 2. Make sure you work with your mentor or me or someone at Special Olympics Maryland to make sure that that speech fits into the time that you've been allowed. It's respectful to your host, and people in the audience will genuinely appreciate it. Know your audience. So what organization are you talking to? If you're talking about the benefits of law enforcement torch run, but you're at a school, you've mixed your audiences up. So if you want to make sure you know your audience, uh, work with, again, your mentor or Special Olympics Maryland staff, and go, okay, I'm speaking to Wawa, so I want to talk to them about their support of Special Olympics Maryland and why Wawa is such a great organization. So this is all kind of preparation before you go. Personal space. So in North America as a whole, we like a lot of personal space. And what that means is the space that's around you, the space that you like people to be close to you, but not too close. So make sure that you're not standing too close to people. Generally, people like kind of, if I can see that. So from an elbow to your tip of your fingers, if you reach that out in front of you like that, that's about as close as most people like others to be, unless of course they're family and you know them better. So think about that. Arrive on time. It's one of my oldest kind of sayings. If you're on time, you're late. So if your appointment is at 2 o'clock, you should not be arriving at 2 o'clock. If your appointment's at 2 o'clock, you should be arriving at 1:30, even 1:15. So in case there's a parking problem, in case you can't find where you're supposed to go, in case you need to test out the microphone and the podium and just get an idea of how everything sounds. There's lots of things that can potentially go wrong. Usually they don't, but you want to be prepared for them. If you're there early, you can help prepare yourself and you won't get as flustered. Appropriate dress and hygiene. If this is a black tie affair, you don't show up in a swimsuit, you don't show up in a polo. If it's a casual affair and you need a Special Olympics Maryland polo shirt or a collared shirt and appropriate dress pants, understand where you're going and the clothes that you need. If you need help with that, again, your mentor or SOMD staff can help. And some of the tools for your talks. Don't forget your script, don't forget flyers, don't forget to wear your medal. Also, if you have the trading cards, bring the trading cards. Those are often very popular and you can share them with everyone in the audience. And don't worry if you give them all away, I will happy to order you a new set. So parts of the speech, back to the top bun. Opening. So if in the opening of your speech, you want to make sure that you thank the person who introduced you. You want to thank the audience for having you there. You know, tell them your name. You don't want to get up and start talking and they don't know who you are. And you want to tell them why you're there. So you're going to tell them what you're going to tell them. That sounds a little funny, but you're going to say, I'm here today to talk to you about the polar bear plunge, about the 50th anniversary, about Special Olympics. And so now they know what kind of speech you're going to make, and maybe that will help them listen a little closer because they'll be excited about the topic. The body, remember the body, the lettuce, the cheese, tomatoes, burger. So this is where your catch line fits in here. It can. And we didn't talk about a catch line because this is kind of a shorter version of the Global Messenger course. But a catch line is like an advertisement line. That's something you've heard on a commercial. Nike has Just Do It. And various products have their own catch line. So we're asking you to think about, do you have a catch line? And in a few slides, we'll be able to show you some sample catch lines, but definitely feel free to make your own. So this is where you could put it in. There's a personal story about your SO involvement. SO is a shortened term. It's an acronym for Special Olympics. So how did you get involved? When did you start? This is the really important part, is like why Special Olympics is so important to you and the impact on your life. And there may be some additional facts about Special Olympics. You might want to include the mission so people understand what we do. Sometimes people aren't fully aware of what Special Olympics does. They have a different thought or a different idea of what we do. So sharing the mission might help. Make sure to tell the audience what you want them to do. If you want them to give money, don't ask them to volunteer. If you want them to volunteer, don't ask them to give you money. So you want to be sure. That may be something different for every speech, and you're going to want to consult with your mentor or your Special Olympics Maryland staff to make sure that we're asking them exactly what we want. And some talking points for your target audience, like why should they do what you're asking? And we have a document that provides every talking point for various audiences. I think we have 9 target audiences, so we can send you that if you'd like. And then are you going to show a video? This is where your medals could come in. You could talk about the story of how you won that gold medal and what it means to you, or any other kind of display that you're doing for this. Who am I? This is another tool we use to kind of drop it into a speech somewhere. This could go in the opening, but generally it goes in the body. So you want to talk about how many people you have in your family, what you love to do, what you don't like having to do. And sometimes people are uncomfortable talking about things they don't like because they feel it's very negative, but sometimes people can identify with things that you don't like. Like, I don't like having to eat broccoli, or I don't like, running 20 miles or whatever it is, but everything's different. But, if you include that. Recent event that you just completed in, was it maybe a vacation? Maybe it was a fundraiser, maybe it was a sporting event. Any of those would be good there. And then what do you enjoy in your free time? Here's a way to really connect with some people. Like, what do you like to do? Maybe someone else collects stamps like you do. Maybe someone enjoys travel like you do. So you're going to make a connection with the audience. And this, again, all of this goes in the body. So parts of a speech. So again, closing, we've done our opening, right? Oban, we've done our middle, and now we're going to do the bottom. So the closing, now you're going to tell them everything you told them. You're going to remind the audience what you want them to do. You're going to tell them how they can get involved and give any material out if you wish. Ask if anyone has questions. That's really important because sometimes people don't understand and they want to get clarification. Give them time to ask questions. Thank them for inviting you, learning how you can volunteer, fundraise, whichever. And here's another chance to give your website. So you saw that in the elevator speech. I gave you the somd.org website, but maybe you're talking about the 50th anniversary and it's a different website. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's Polar Bear Plunge, and that's a different website. So make sure you get the right website for the topic you're talking about. Here are some key facts about Special Olympics that you might want to include as well, because people, again, don't always know how much we do at Special Olympics. So you want to add as much knowledge and give them as much detail as possible, so that all ability levels can participate in sports. So we have an opportunity for anyone who wants to participate, unified sports, different ages, different ability levels. So, and that's what the second point is, that all abilities can achieve and have sports success and athlete leadership success with Special Olympics, and that we value every athlete, which is the last point, that no one is turned away if they have the desire to participate and learn. So remember we talked about a catch line? Okay, so here's some catch lines that there's only 4 here, but there's so many that people have come up with in these trainings. But this might be a good starting until you want to do your own. Special Olympics changes lives. Special Olympics inspires all. Special Olympics creates heroes. And Special Olympics celebrates differences. So maybe, what's your own? Tell me what your catch line is. Give me an email. Let me know what it is. I'd be interested. So normally, because you're taking this on your own, if we were in class, we'd do a little practice here. We put together a speech, but that will be part of the assignment at the end. So let's, we have our speech ready. We're working on it. We have the theme. We think we got everything together. when you go out and make a speech, what do you think that's going to look like? And what do you think will be successful? Like, what do you think success is? Having a round of applause at the end of it, having someone donate more money, having recruited 20 volunteers. You have to decide kind of what success looks like for you. And this isn't just for your speech, but what is success like for you as an athlete leader? Like, what are the things that you want to participate in and make change about, so that you're successful in everything you do. So our vision for the 50th anniversary is that through sports, we will open the hearts and minds towards people with intellectual disabilities and create inclusive communities all over the world. So there you see the inclusive communities again. So that's part of what our vision is for the 50th. Here are just a few talking points. Remember, in the body of the speech, we talked about some talking points or some facts, kind of things you want to share. And these are, you can read these on your own. If you just want to pause the video, you can do that and read them. But all, you know, the samples are 2020 is a special year for Special Olympics Maryland as we celebrate our 50th anniversary of the first games held at the University of Maryland in 1970. And so there's some more talking points here. I won't read through all of them, but you can stop the video and read them and copy them if you want them in your speech. Some additional talking points. This talks about health at the bottom. It talks about how many people are being served in 170 countries, kind of what it's for. Again, if you want to take a moment and pause the video, you can do so and write these down. But if you also want a copy of the PowerPoint, I will absolutely be happy to send it to you. So just additional talking points. It's a little crowded, that text, but there it is. So we would also like athletes to participate where possible on social media. And so we've created a couple slides here for you. And just to talk a little bit about the various media platforms. So you can see on the left, we're talking about Facebook. In the green, you can see green or blue. You can see a link to our Special Olympics Maryland's Facebook pages. But in Facebook, we can add stories. You can make status posts. You can share pictures and videos. You can share other people's posts. You can go live. You can message friends and businesses, and you can learn more information about businesses and pages that you like or follow. Instagram's pretty close to that as well. It is more visual, and what I mean by visual is that it's really works off of pictures. There's some video, and so it's a lot about images, and there's not a lot of room, not as much room to write, but you can talk. There's stories that are temporary, photos you put up. Again, pictures and videos I talked about. You can save highlights to your account, and you can stay updated on what SOMD is doing. LinkedIn, I don't know, some of you will be familiar with this, some will not. It's more for professionals kind of looking for jobs, or someone looking for a job, or someone who has a job sharing the things they do with other people who do the same thing. If you're interested in creating a LinkedIn profile, let us know. We'd be happy to work with you to do that. But a LinkedIn account helps you create an account that shares your past experiences, talks about your job history, any volunteering you've done, your education. You can make blog posts. You can share pictures and videos like Instagram or Facebook. You can share other people's posts. You can message friends in business and learn more about information about other businesses. So it's like Facebook, but a little more formal and a little more kind of corporate and a little more buttoned up than Facebook can be. So Twitter, Twitter's a great platform, lots of instant information, but you can't write as much. So it's under 280 characters, and a character is a letter or a space or a symbol. So you have to get a lot of information in 280 characters. So some people are very, very good at it. You can tweet pictures and videos. You can retweet other things. You can quote other accounts and make your own comments. And you can also stay updated on what SOMD is doing on Twitter. Here's some ideas or some samples of some of our athletes who are active on social media. And it's pretty important to be active on social media. You know, it's a way to connect with people outside of your area where you live and who have common interests. So something, if you're not on some of these platforms, something to think about. And if you need help, certainly let us know. So here's a sample where athlete leader Carmen Houston Ludlam is taking part in a newscasting training, and this is there's a posting with a video of Carmen and her final project as a newscaster. So it's a chance for her to show her skills and put it up there. And you can see on the side that if you want to share a post, that will have a link to be sure to include it so your friends know where to go online to find it. You can use hashtags on most social media platforms, but isn't necessary for Facebook, but you certainly can include them. And there's a social media class in athlete leadership that can talk more about hashtags. Charles Gaines, you can see, is on Instagram. Charles is a great poster on Instagram and Facebook, and actually in LinkedIn too. Very good with videos and photos. It's a good place for hashtags. And so you can see Charles here as a sample on Instagram. LinkedIn, our president and CEO, Jim Schmutz, is very active on LinkedIn. And he did 50 days of fitness or exercises that he did from his house early on in our pandemic to help motivate people through the 50 for 50 challenge. So hashtags are really good in LinkedIn. They kind of bring commonality. And so if you are talking about fitness, you could do hashtag fitness, and you can see in the top here, it says hashtag virtual movement in Jim's post. That is one of the hashtags we used. So again, we can work on hashtags in another social media course. Twitter is a good example. Here's Katie Ledecky, who did kind of I think it's a challenge. Is it the Got Milk challenge, where she swam with a cup of milk on her head without spilling it, and it took off. It went viral. And viral means lots of people saw it and then participated in it and commented on it. So Adam Hayes, who's an athlete leader, and SOMD staff Jeff Abel tried their own version of that, as you can see on the bottom, and balancing a cup of water on his head while he played tennis. And didn't go as well as Katie Ledecky's performance, but again, they were just trying to participate in something that someone else was doing and make it fun. And the idea of social media is fun. Lots of people can get really serious about it, but it's also a good place to share some fun stuff. And here's an example with Jeff and Adam. So soon there'll be an entirely social media toolkit coming out, and we'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of that. So just to let you know, there are many ways for you to get involved with the 50th anniversary as an ambassador, and you can see them kind of listed here. Do you want to write articles and blogs? Do you want to be a social media influencer? Can you become a model? Do you want to learn and to take and edit videos, take pictures, learning how to act and utilize improv skills, how to be interviewed, how to do an interview, and then public speaking. And maybe you're interested in the thank you patrol. And that's where we get together and phone people or go around to event and thank those people who are supporting us, the volunteers, law enforcement, whoever's there in that capacity. These aren't the only roles you can take, but these are a sampling of the roles. Maybe there's a role you want that you've thought about that think would be a great addition to all this. It'd be really cool for you to let us know and see if we can make that happen together. So because you're taking this on your own, there's a final assignment before you can be considered a 50th anniversary ambassador. And that final assignment is the following. Answer these 4 questions. What are the 4 colors of the pictures of Eunice Kennedy Shriver on slide 7? Send those to me. Answer question on slide 17 and answer the question on slide 18. And then fill in the who am I, which is on slide 26. All right. So fill in those 4 things, send them to jshremel@somd.org. And I will, once I get those and double check on their accuracy, then I will give you an email and let you know that you have become, you've successfully become a global messenger. So that takes us to the end of this. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining. I'm really excited to work with you in this capacity, and we will talk soon.